and
Well,
then
we can,
yeah,
yeah.
I can
Well, that's a perfect start. You know why, Tanya? And we've talked about that. And on the way home from yoga this morning, I was thinking the same thing. Is like there's so many things that go through my mind. Is like, what kind of camera do I use? Do I, where do I sit? And what if this and what if that? And then the Facebook, and like if we wait for everything to seem perfect, it would never happen. To me, it wouldn't.
I agree with you. This is just a sign of just moving forward. And, I've definitely had those times in my life where I feel like I need to have everything perfect in order to, do the next step or reach my next goal. And it's all good. We're here. We're ready to chat. I'm so excited about our 1010 talks.
I
And
am too. Tiffany's on. I don't know. It's so funny because I don't know how much of a delay there is when people show up on Facebook. So I was watching the feed. Um, so that's the other thing that I want to get good at is how to balance to really honor the people that hop on and
yes.
to honor our conversation and just to really make have that balance and not like we talked about squirrel. It's like
Mhm.
and get distracted. So let's get started with what we wanted to do, and I'll you can start us off. I know this is your first not first time live, but I know that it was a big step for you to go live.
It is for me. For some reason, live streaming, going live, like we were chatting a little bit before we started. I know I have it all in me. It's all there, but something about going live and so my focus is going to be just going with the flow and this is where I need to be right now and where I am. And I'd love to start off with talking about why we chose, how we came to choose 1010 Talks.
Yes, let's start with that. This is a perfect
Yeah.
beginning for sure. It's all gonna flow together. So let's start with that. That's, I think, the perfect place to start. How did we come about to be here today through this journey?
Brainstorming. No. But we both have very similar thoughts, opinions, moving towards a higher purpose in life. And I've told Adiba too, from the moment I met her, from the moment I walked into her place and met her, it's just been, we instantly had a connection. And we both have this fire, this purpose. And we've been moving towards doing something like this for a while. And we are here and we are putting ourselves out there to share our thoughts, our emotions, our intuitions, our happiness,
Yeah.
everything that we love about each other and about ourselves. And 1010 really stands for trusting what, to me, it really stands for trusting what the universe has in store for you.
Yeah. And that was, I mean, we're so connected. And like one of the biggest thing that we talked about is that we want this a space for humans to feel that we are who we are, and we are beautiful from the inside out, but we get sometimes very restricted with what we're supposed to do and what our cultures tells us to do, and then it all impacts our health because overall we're looking at um, bringing both our passions together. And that's what's so cool is that you have an avenue that you want to go under and through, and I have another avenue that I want to travel on, but it all combines together as having healthy, happy humans all over the world. And the 1010 is pretty cool.
I'm sorry, you're
uh, it- life. Are you, I think you're breaking up. Are you
yes,
breaking
I
up?
was
Can you hear me?
up a little bit, so I didn't hear the last few words that you said. I apologize. So if I was looking kind of like, I was trying to read your lips. It must be the internet connection.
Yeah, it's just how we talked about, it's about empowering others to the one. Yeah, I think that you're maybe the internet is I just saw a note from Tiffany, and she said that I'm always smiling when speaking. It's radiating. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Okay.
Oh, and
our focus was really to just have something positive out there for inspirational, whether they be talks or stories, and just kind of hopes of, I guess, awakening other people, awakening our listeners, and really prompting them to take action.
yeah,
because it's not easy to always be happy,
right.
but happiness as a skill, I guess, if you want to say,
Yeah.
it takes effort and action, and there's going to be good days and bad days, but just staying positive, staying determined, and knowing that sharing this light and really promoting, mindfulness about it.
Yeah. The mindfulness is that becoming so aware of who we are without what we think we should be,
Mm-hmm.
and what's expected of us. I would love to have you go into the focus on the kids' mindfulness, and on whoever's watching right now. I really want to thank everyone that's hopping on. And if you're watching live right now, or if you're watching the replay, or if you get on our podcast once we publish that, just in the chat right now, tell us, even if you're watching the replay, let us know, what is happiness to you. There are no wrong answers. I think wrong is like, what is wrong? But we put that stress on ourselves, or this is not the right thing. But I want people to share from their heart, what is happiness. And I know for me, for a long time, I fell into this process. I'm happy if I have the best job. I'm happy because I'm making money. I'm happy because of like all the external stuff. And what I'm excited about is really, through this 1010 talks, is bringing the happy from within, and then it really reflects on the things on the outside, on others. But I would love for you, Tanya, because I know we chatted about you doing, focusing on the mindfulness for kids. And that's an awesome subject for me too, is we've got to empower the kids, the little humans, so they can grow up happy adult humans.
Yes. Honestly, I have always had a passion in working with kids and families. As a civilian and also in the military, I feel a really strong connection. I heard this quote before. It was actually through this past year of self-discovery, my journey, and everything that I've learned about myself, my strengths and my weaknesses. My mentor had said in a class, she said, "This is my magic and all are welcome." And I just, like, something resonated for me with that. It was just something so simple, something to really connect with. And at that moment, it was really an awakening for me, and saying, like, what am I doing? I'm trying to, like, reinvent myself. I'm trying to do this and this and that. And I was like, my magic is really with children and with families. And working with the military as well, that's definitely my passion. But it's so important because we have so much power to shape their little minds, into and show them some good, positive, not only reinforcement, feedback, how to live a happy, healthy life. And I think we don't understand all the time how much of an influence we can be on children in general, whether it be your own children, the children at school or in your community. And I've done some work in the school system and working with children, and it just, I don't know, it's like effortless, and you kind of feed off. I kind of think of children as like my spiritual teachers, I guess, if you want to say, because they've taught me so much along the way, and just being okay with just being present.
Right.
But also the little things like, breathing, movement, how to focus in school, at home. There's so many different aspects. And just really having that positive outlook and understanding that it doesn't take a lot to be mindful about where you are, who you want to be. And it can start at a really young age.
Yeah.
And through every season in life that might change. But if you really, hold that impression, if you really start that at a young age, it's okay if you feel like you don't know where you're going or who you're going to be, because you know that you have it in yourself, and to figure that out. And like you said, it doesn't always have to be perfect.
I think the perfect is once we really know that this is perfect the way it is right now, it relieves that stress, and that's part of being in that moment. It's like perfection is what we have right now. And like that has helped me come to a point in my life where it is perfect right now, because this is the moment that literally, and we talked about that when we were like leading up to launching it, is like you could be the last person I talk to, literally. This is it. This is perfection. And that has really helped me bring up the happy even more. What is one or two things that you have shared with kids, or something that you can share here on the live, that moms and dads and anybody could do with a younger human this week? Is something that you can share that would be just a cool practice or something to do?
So there's a couple of things. I'm going to start with, personally, and I'll share what I do with my kids and my family. I always tell, and I've shared this with you before, I always say to my daughter or any of my kids, especially my young one, because my youngest, my 8-year-old, is probably the one that I've practiced a little bit more on, just because I've learned so much over the past few years that I've been able to really start at a younger age with her. Through our experiences. But something I always tell her, like, is, you make my heart happy. So instead of getting into the everyday of, I love you, goodbye, I love you, goodbye, just trying to think of different phrases that connect you to their children that are really meaningful to them. So for me, it's something like, instead of saying like, I'm proud of you, or that's really good, it's, you make my heart happy. Or when my older kids are walking out the door, or I'm, dropping them off somewhere. And I actually got this from a really good friend of mine. So shout out to Donna Federico. But say to them, I love you, make good choices. I know you're going to make good choices. I'll see you when you get home. It's just something simple like that. We also have a gratitude journal that we have near our front door, that every once in a while, it's not no perception or no, there's no rules around it. It's just whenever you're feeling it, open it up and write something, or open it up and read, and just remind yourself of, as a family, what we're grateful for, the little things. And the last thing that I'd love to say is really, I don't think we all understand the power of breathing, our breath, and how much it does for our mental health, our happiness, regulating our nervous system, calming down. There's just so many things that just stop, take a deep breath, or take a couple of deep breaths, and for adults, even doing some breath work, I think those are just three simple ideas, three simple things that you can incorporate into everyday life.
Yeah. The breathing, as you're talking about that, Tanya, it reminds me, like I'm visual in my mind. When I hear people talk, I see things, but it's like this, it's like this planting a seed when you don't know what's happening in the earth as that seed is getting ready to come out and blossom and grow into, I don't know, like an oak tree. You don't know all that's going inside under all the earth, in the dirt, and all the stuff that it's doing. And to visualize the breath as doing all that work internally, like, we just have to have that faith that we know it works, just like that seed that you plant in the dirt, it's going to be a tomato plant or a tree or whatever. But just having that trust and that faith and that knowing, and to get to that point, it manifests into all these incredible things, because it just shifts into not depending on having to see things in the world, materialistically, like we get so stuck into, like, we have to have it in our hands. I know this is a cup because I can hold it. So it's so true with the breathing. I mean, it makes a huge difference, and it heals pain, which I had shared with you about, healing the pain from our past. So I wanted to just kind of touch base real quickly on that, as we go on this journey with the 1010 Talks, is to really not so much have one subject, but to really be able to chat like two moms and from different generations to share our wisdom so far, what we have, and then be on the journey with you and learn from you. So if you're watching the replay, for those of you that are on Facebook, or if you're live with us right now, just let us know, again, what makes you happy? What do you think happiness is? And then the pain from the past has been a huge thing that I've learned in the last few years, is that internal pain. And I'm talking about, say as a child, I go up to my mom because I have this beautiful picture of a 2-year-old that scribbled on the paper, and I go up to her to show her, and she just happens to be helping my brother because he got a cut on his finger, for example. And then, so as a 2-year-old, I walk up to my mom so excited about this picture. It's like, look, and I've put so much into it and I'm so excited. And she's like, not now, because she's, all her energy is trying to fix this bleeding, whatever, finger of my brother's, right? So in that moment, as a 2-year-old, I don't have the process and the ability to distinguish, to make that sense. Well, my brother is in danger. She, her focus needs to be there. But what I'm going to process, depending on my other experiences, like, oh, this rejection, I'm not good enough. It's an ugly picture. I'm not whatever it is that I process. So that can be an example of some pain that can happen. I know for me, experience-wise, in person, when I was younger, growing up in Egypt, and I might have shared that with you, is I repeated a whole grade, because if you get like 2 Ds in any subject and the gazillion subjects that we took, you had to repeat the whole grade again. And I lost a dear friend of mine because once I stayed behind, we disconnected. We weren't able to reach each other. Long story. But anyway, that I recognized that pain as I became an adult. I had put up walls, not wanting to have friends, not feeling that I'm good enough to have friends. So it really impacted my relationships, and where, even though externally everyone was like, Ajiba's so happy, she's amazing, but the outside world, they saw something that internally I hadn't processed that pain yet. So it impacted so many things. So the first step is, and to share with everyone today, is to recognize that pain and to honor it. It's like, oh yeah, I was a little kid, 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever. I have to remember now how old I was in that. So to honor that, and then go through the process of honoring that pain, and then taking steps to heal it. And we heal through conversations, through speaking, even here, that will allow me to heal even more, sharing, and then others hearing that and being able to share it. And then teaching others is also another form of healing. And then taking care of ourselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, and nutritionally. And I feel like one of the things that has not been brought to the forefront a lot yet is that when we're not nourishing our bodies nutritionally well, psychologically and mentally and emotionally, that gets impacted. And you and I talked about that a little bit, how if we don't eat right and we don't take our supplements and we don't give our body what it needs to live well, it's hard mentally as well.
Well, and then it just rolls over into other areas of our life where it affects our sleeping, our energy levels. And, I'm going to say when I was younger, even as a young adult, and for many years, I struggled with the concept of, being healthy and nutrition. You have to look a certain way or be a way or eat certain things, and just really moving away from, I guess I want to say, diet culture as a whole, and understanding that only you know what it takes to be healthy. Of course, you're going to have to incorporate exercise but supplements, but also listening to your body. Some people say, oh, intermittent fasting is the best thing for everyone, or, this, and I'm not saying that that's bad by any means, just really listening to the cues in your body, and like whether or not, do you really need to eat 3 meals a day? Is it better to eat every 2 to 3 hours?
Right.
But that not only, relates to nutrition, but just physical, like you said, physical, mental, emotional health as well. And, I think it's really important to focus on, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. We're not here to share anything new, or, it's just really thinking out of the box, or maybe sharing different and dynamic ways to think about what your physical, your mental, your emotional, and nutritional health, what it really means to you personally.
Yeah.
Care.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
Especially when it comes to pain, emotions. So I love that you're talking about this, Adiba, because it's so important.
It's has a huge impact. I mean, I've seen it, and I've learned how that emotional pain, it's like, it just blocks all that energy in you. So I'm such a big believer in it. As it releases, it allows this energy. I mean, we're made of energy, because, back aches and not being able to sleep, you said, and like so many things. It's like, when you think of our bodies as this vessel, and if the energy is not flowing through, or like a circuit, like electrical circuit, if there's something that's broken there, or like Christmas lights, the old ways, where one is busted, then everything just shuts down, right? There's no energy flowing everywhere, whatever visual you have. But and I'm really excited that we launched this.
Me too.
It's like, oh.
And honestly, it's not that we finally decided to. Let me rephrase that. This is our time to do this. Everything that we've done from the moment we've met up until now has just led us here. And this is exactly the right time, the right space. That we are ready to share this with the world.
Right. And whoever is listening, it's that time for you. we look forward, we talked about having some guests hop on sometimes and just really have this real life interaction and empower people so they can really shine, so we can, my mission in the big picture is I want a happy world, a world full of happy humans. So that's what I'm determined my legacy to leave behind is, a world that, happy, healthy humans that will be contagious and will just spread. And it will just continue to grow even after my time on this earth is gone.
Yes. Just sending our positive energy out into the universe. Let it, like you said, just letting it flow, that happy flow, and really just, rewiring your thoughts, rethinking your strategies, how you deal with everyday stressors or even happiness or emotions or, really anything in general. Because when you're happy, sorry, that song just came into my head.
When you're happy and clap your hands. It shows you how we get I was reading your mind. I wonder how many other people watching have thought about that too. We have to find someone that can write us a song that will be our 1010 Talks song.
Mm-hmm. I also want to clarify, before we begin to wind down, I also want to clarify that, I love sharing this information, but I want you to know that, we are not, like we said before, we are not perfect. I am not happy all the time, every single day of my life. There's days that are up and down and days that I want to just, I wake up with the intention of, oh, I need to do this and this and this. And sometimes I just say, you know what? I just feel like drinking a cup of coffee and sitting on the couch and doing nothing for 2 hours. It's more about being okay with knowing that that's what your soul needs in this, and navigating that, and not thinking that you have to stand up to this ideal of like, oh my gosh, I'm not productive if I don't get all my things done today.
Yeah. It's so true, because again, for me, that goes right to the root of happy is inside. So happy inside is always there. Is how to, in those moments in life, because life happens when it's a struggle or is tough or whatever it is how to find that happy inside, that energy inside, to give me the strength to get through the life struggles. So for me now, happy doesn't mean, oh, everything is fine no matter what, I'm like, like you're saying, I'm not okay all the time, but really realizing that inside, happy is always there, because we're created happy humans. We are about joy. We're about that energy. And when life, is rough and tough, I've lost dear friends, the last, over all this whole wonderful life, the last couple of years we've been, experiencing. And those moments where, like you're saying, it's okay that I just want to drink a cup of coffee, even though I don't drink that coffee. Like, it's okay. But then becoming really aware of where is that happy inside that's going to help me heal or manage or go through that struggle in life, because it happens to all of us. It does. And like you're saying, that it is okay. We're not saying that you pretend everything is happy. It's just how to heal those struggles by using our innate happiness within to allow us to heal and to find others, how to find the friends and the family that can support us in those times when we're like, man, I don't want to do anything. This is way too much, So
yeah, and for them to also understand, who you are, and
right.
I think I used to go through like, oh, what are people going to think if I just sat on the couch all day and did nothing? Because that's what I felt like. And it's like, honestly, people don't think anything of it when it comes down to it. Like, it's just these ideals and these perceptions that we put on ourselves. But, you know, I love talking about how there's different, our lives, we go through different seasons, and thinking about it in that respect of just knowing that you can always change and not being afraid of that. Especially, like, I know, Adiba, you've taught me a lot these past few years about, like, it's okay to put that in writing or to do that, because you know what, you can change it. Don't worry about it like being perfect or being like exactly the way you think it should be.
Yeah.
Who cares? Do it, and then 2 weeks later you decide to change it, or 2 years later.
Right.
That's why we're here. That's why we're starting this. That's why we're and I really do also want to talk a little bit about the importance of our audience giving us like feedback, whether it be via chats or little comments on our posts, just about what they want to hear, what they want to learn about, what they'd like to hear, what they'd like to share with us. I know you tapped into that a little bit already, Adiba, but we wanted this to be helpful, and we want to share our magic in a way that people understand.
Yeah.
And
or would you like to share your phone number? Because once we download that and upload it onto a podcast, they won't be able to see all the verbiage and the Facebook stuff. But if you can just share your phone number or any other way that they can reach you, and I'll do the same.
Yes, I will. So my name is Tania Palacios. It's Tania, and then it's Palacios. And my email is tlp4wellness@gmail.com. And my phone number is 857-891-8070. So if you'd like to reach out, have any comments, anything you'd like to share, email, phone, text, whatever works for you, I'm here.
And then they can always keep adding to the chat here on Facebook, and we will be looking at those. And if you want to have the link to our podcast, please add that to the chat as well, and we'll reach out to you. You can reach me at my phone number, and I'm great with text anytime because I turn my phone off at the end of the day. It's 210-310-5629. And my first name is Adiba, Adiba. I want to throw in my middle name, which is my Egyptian heritage, which is Abdel Ader. I won't spell that right now, but I'll give you my last married name is Twig, Twig. So Adiba Abdel Ader Twig. And I just want to throw that Egyptian part of me in there as well, because we are who we are because of everything that we've been through in life. So I'm good with wrapping it up right here. What do you think, Tanya?
Yes, I agree with you. Our intent was to just share some information, put ourselves out there and get some feedback and share what we're doing in our lives and how much happiness means to us. So this is the right time.
And we will see you all next Friday, every Friday, God willing. We'll get on here at 10:10 in the morning, and that's Texas time, Central time. So in case you're reaching all over the world and all over the country, so 10:10 Central time on Facebook Live, and then we'll share with you anywhere else that we go live as well. Thank you, Tanya. This was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited. So hang on, I'm gonna stop the